just went ahead and added you to the broadcast. So we'll wait for you to pop on here. Excited to have you here today, buddy. This is good stuff. All right, being added. Let's take a look. Let's back this up. There he is.
Can you see me, or is it too low?
I can see your great looking suit. There's your face. Well, yeah, bring it down a little bit.
How about now?
You look good. Yeah, I got you from like right here.
Can you see the library?
I can see your library. I'm sure it's got 1,000 books in it. Just about 1,000.
Readers, reading is important for thinking between the lines,
I'm excited for
this. Is not water. Huh? This is not
I know
water.
It's coffee. I know it's coffee. You walk around with a gallon of coffee a day.
Well, there was a French literary figure named Honoré de Balzac.
Okay.
He wrote about 400 books, and he would drink coffee 50 cups a day. But he died young.
Yes, he did.
Very young. He died very young. Yeah. So there is really no ending to that story.
Anyway,
sorry. There's your show.
We need to keep you around, but I know that you're one of the healthy ones. I know you take good care of yourself, buddy.
You could say that.
So here's how I'm going to do today's episode. Today's episode, we're just going to kind of go off the cuff. You and I have spent a couple hours together, to say the least, and we've had some really great conversations in the past. I think the first time I met you was actually through a mutual friend, a friend of ours, Ms. Jen Groover, who's actually going to be one of our guest speakers, and we both know.
Wonderful woman.
Serial entrepreneur. She's been featured in Forbes magazine. The woman is just off the charts. It's going to be exciting when we have her, but that's how you and I got connected, right? She introduced me to you. She said, you guys should get together. Yeah. And on a snow day, we spent about 4 hours together at a Starbucks.
Maybe 2 years ago?
2 years ago. And so I think, would you agree, what we found out was, number one, we could talk for hours.
Probably isn't this a half-day mastermind? Just us, you and I, talking for the next 5 hours?
That's pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to spend 5 hours here in the Freedom Financial Solutions group, and we're going to have the longest running Facebook Live in the history of Facebook.
That's good. What is the Guinness Book of World Records on the Facebook Live, like the longest? Does anyone know in the comments? Someone Google it. I can't because I'm on the live. I would like to know. That would be like a great marketing tool. Which I think we're going to talk about marketing and whatnot.
We are,
right?
Yeah. We're going to talk about marketing and marketing yourselves. And obviously, let me introduce you to the group. Right, so the group is made up of independent contractors, state licensed life insurance agents. Everything we do is wrapped around something called living benefits life insurance. And our folks, my team, and the individuals that we have the pleasure of working with every day, these folks are out every day meeting with business owners, middle America, new homeowners, people who did refinances, basically people who want to protect the most precious things in their lives, their family, their assets, their home, their businesses. And basically, Jay, in short, it's insurance that pays while you're alive. And it's also insurance that pays if you pass away, a beneficiary gets paid out. So this is what these folks are doing day in and day out. They are doing such a good thing for people, but they're independent and they work independently. There are no bosses here. It isn't W-2. How you get paid is basically based on your performance. And I know that you know about that type of pay structure. And so let me do this.
My question would be really quick. The compliance in respect to social media, has that been an issue in the industry?
No, I believe.
So that's not a problem. People can talk what they want to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I just wanted, that was good to know.
So let me do this. Let me turn it over to you. And maybe if you can maybe take us back through just very quickly. I like your story about how you got started at owning the gyms, and then take us up to current day and how you were able to kind of transform and pivot yourself from being a gym owner and managing gyms and managing people over to being the CEO of Culture Matters and having some very high profile clients.
Yeah, and working with, it seems like based on what you told me, the type of clientele that you're looking for, business owners with 20 employees, 50 employees, 100 employees and up. Is that correct? Is that like a good, you know, your B2B of what your industry is, like
All the
business
way
owners?
from a plumber with no employees, all the way up to a plumber's union that has multiple employees. Yes.
Understood. So one thing we share in common would be the same B2B customer, right? So now I want to talk about three
Wait, I
things,
don't
I
want to
guess.
interrupt you.
That would be
So
intent.
you're getting
Yeah,
cut
sure.
off at the eyebrows, just so you know.
Oh, really? Well, they're not that great
All
anyway.
right.
Well, so that actually ties into our conversation. I was completely obsessed with my external visibility to other people because at a very young age, I decided that I was worthless and had no self-worth and decided to invest my entire life in worrying about what other people thought of me. So my entire adolescent life was built around fitness to mask my great amount of insecurity and lack of self-worth. So I did actually get my eyebrows waxed for about 4
No.
years
Okay.
because I was so worried about what people think. And I guess that could tie into to go from the fitness business industry to go to a financial industry with corporate culture, working with companies up to about 100 employees is the largest we've been able to work with successfully up until this point, a couple years in. And obviously we're attempting to change the world as well. So how to make that shift? I want to talk about three things for any individual that's looking to have the opportunity of people taking them serious enough to have the opportunity to work with a customer. And you can call it salespeople, business owners, what just are individuals that have more people on their team, right? More than one person, but you're a salesperson. How do you get people to take you seriously? First, I think you need integrity, competence, and confidence. Now, I felt like I had integrity when I started actually telling the truth that I had to really work on my personal life if I was ever going to be successful in business and in personal life. So that's where the integrity started being a conversation. Now, that's the thing. Once I felt like, all right, if I have an opportunity to actually solve someone's problem in that capacity of company culture and team building and so on and so forth, I could do it. However, no one believed that I knew what I was talking about. Just like, well, maybe anyone here can relate when you start a business. Why would anyone be able to read your mind and believe you? You have someone that you want to be a customer. Why would anyone believe you? So as Ivan Misner, the founder of BNI, would say, visibility, credibility, and profitability, they go in that order. So I said, all right, I believe that I can do something that add value to other people, but no one believes in me. So I decided to take full responsibility of my personality brand online. And instead of attempting to pitch people things and sell people things, because that happens organically when you attract people that just like you for who you are, I decided to show my competence and confidence online, right? Visibility, by putting out every single day, empathetic, educational, and therefore entertaining to those that liked what I had to say, right? Both personally and knowledge-based, and started building a following. And then the best thing that could have ever happened for me happened. About a year and change, a half ago, I was in a ATV.
All right.
Like a big side-by-side. This was a big moment for me, where one of my close friends was driving this car, about 50 miles an hour. We were goofing around on a friend's land and turned left really quickly, and the car flipped over and landed on my right arm. And it was pretty obvious that I wasn't going to go to Las Vegas in 2 days for work. Like, this arm was completely shattered.
I saw the video. You
were
made
watching
a
the Facebook
video
Live?
and your arm was dangling in the ATV. I saw it.
Yeah. I want to be clear. In that moment, I knew it wasn't good. The reason it was the best thing that ever happened for me was when I got to the hospital and they did perform the surgery, and I got the rods all throughout the arm. The prognosis was that I would never be able to use my right arm again. And that was a very dark place for about 2 weeks. And the reason I say 2 weeks was I was about to quit on the whole thing. I mean, forget about it. At the time, I have no employees. It's just me putting out educational, empathetic content. Now, what does that mean? Every day for about a year, a video would go out on Facebook and LinkedIn on my personal profiles. It's not like there was an investor or something of that nature. It's not like mommy I called, because there hasn't been a family for many, many, many years. It was just me. And like you said, the fitness business, I had left that business to pursue this culture business, which we talk about later. So I was about to quit. And I woke up one day, looked at Facebook. People knew that this occurred. And after putting out consistent, visibility, I started building some credibility. People could see my heart and they could see my mind. And I had support. No one knew, no family member knew, nobody knew about this. And I was in a very lonely, dark place. And I was like, people really care. So this is what I did. I filmed that video that you're talking about, I think, where my hair is all crazy. I have no suit on. I had a robotic clamp on my arm. And I'm basically telling what happened. And at this point, I do not know if my arm is ever going to work again. That was the prognosis. I mean, and we're talking, it didn't come back for 6 or 7 months. But this is 2 weeks in. And it was emotional. I basically cried on camera and put it out to the world. The response to that video was 100 times. I'm not making this up. It was like 15,000 organic views and hundreds of comments. And in that moment, I realized something. The difference between what I thought I needed to validate myself, which was false, in business, in the world, and the things in life that I just wanted. I don't need the suit. You wear the suit, whatever you decide that your brand or belief consumers have in you. This is my armor for battle. I don't need the suit to validate myself anymore. But I did. And in that moment, something big switch clicked for me personally and then in business. And it relates to anyone here that's on here right now that realizes that there's 3 billion people on personal Facebook alone, 30 and up, that do business every single day. And you have a voice in this world. A big switch happened for me. Because every day for almost a year up to that point, I was doing videos of just me talking at the camera. And guess what, Brett? People still didn't, get it. And it wasn't necessarily popping off for me, but I just kept doing it. And in that moment, I said, the only reason I was able to tell the truth online and build a support group, because there was none, and I was about to quit, and it got me through this thing mentally, was because I was comfortable enough on the camera to put that video out in the worst time ever. If I didn't do all those videos, I would have never been comfortable enough to do it. So I decided to start interviewing other people for 3 reasons. One, without people asking me a question like you've given me an audience today, which I greatly appreciate everyone here, I would just like to talk to hear myself because I'm insecure. 2, so therefore I wanted to interview other people so that they could show their genius. 2, I knew that if they got comfortable on the camera, if something happened to them, maybe they could tell the truth online. It could change their life. It changed the whole course of my life. And 3, well, it was self-evident after I did it and paid for someone to chop up the interview into many little clips that it was a great way to just organically grow a business. And today, less than a year later from that, about a year from that time, that was September 22nd, 2017 is when my arm was crushed. I've got 5 full-time employees, a full production team, a back-end admin, and a full-time salesperson now with the organization. And we're an education company for anyone that cares to know. That's why I'm attempting to articulate my truth empathetically, tell the truth, and educate so someone could potentially learn something. We're an education company. So in that moment, I took the tool of social media and decided to interview other people to overcome my insecurity by being a better listener, because it's obviously easy for me to talk when someone asks me a question. I'm still talking. Give them content to build their business. And over 125, it was close to 140 plus interviews later, that visibility became the credibility to get the first big corporate opportunity, that all I needed was that opportunity to then do a good job. Integrity, right? Integrity. That's all you need in capitalism. As a 1099 employee, whether you're an individual or you have 500 employees, you just need integrity, competence, and confidence. Because if you have the opportunity and you have confidence to do it, you'll be confident to do it. And if you have integrity, you'll do it. And then you'll get referrals and it'll grow. But you have to have those three. I didn't have integrity before that accident. Now,
let me stop you right there.
I had to be humble.
You got so many great points, and I'm writing down a lot of notes. You got so many great points. I want to zone in on those three because they are 100,000% relatable to insurance contractors. Having integrity, having competence, and having confidence. I believe that a lot of times agents come on board, they just passed a test, and their confidence level is low. Now, they feel good about themselves because they passed that super hard test, but the confidence in going out and speaking to anyone about anything that we do, I believe is low. What tip would you give a new person to slowly be able, like my tip is always come to training, come learn, and then we will teach, you will practice, and you will do, as opposed to we will just teach. You're going to practice and do. What's your advice, new people, confidence?
That's a great question. If anyone Googles the cone of learning right now, it's a triangle. The cone of learning. The cone of learning on Google. You type in the cone of learning. When we read, we remember about 10 on that. This is obviously general, but 10%. When we do, the threshold increases of what we're going to remember more than just reading. When we teach, it's at the top of the pyramid. So learning, doing, and teaching is intrinsically a part of the human behavior, the human psyche, the human species. So it's great advice what you're saying on training. My advice, based on what worked for me to build this company very quickly to get those opportunities, is that when someone's new coming to business, or they're not new to the business, they have a responsibility for visibility, which leads to credibility, which leads to profitability. They teach what you're learning in short 60-second to 2-minute clips and put it on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. And once you get comfortable with that, balance that out by interviewing other individuals in your industry that you could learn from, where you can serve them, and their proximity bias to you, right, is credibility to people that don't know you yet. Now, this is the catch. Those individuals that do very well in the world will not want to congregate with you consistently if the competence isn't there to gain the confidence through the integrity. We have an epidemic in the world of education. Luckily, when you're in a business like this business that you're in, can you ascertain all of the literature that you need to learn the competencies? Can you seek out a mentor? Of course, we're in a Facebook group about basically education, if I'm correct, if I'm wrong. So anyone here has already made the decision to be open and curious, to reflect and observe so that they can tell the truth, meaning their competence to other people through their integrity. So I would say take Brett's advice of learning, showing up to the classes, and then teach that, because it is psychologically, based on our understanding of neuroscience today, you're more likely to become confident when you teach, because you're going to be more competent.
Okay.
So find someone to mentor. Every human needs a mentor and to be a mentor to another human. I mean, you have kids. Aren't you a parent? It's like a biological thing, man. And once I started doing that, and I was thinking, well, obviously I'm a competent human at that point. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life learning, doing, and teaching. Period. End of story. So I would say to everyone here, film content.
All right, so that's
film
content.
Tell your story. I'll give you an example. I don't want to talk just in esoteric platitudes here. Tangible, actionable steps that you can do. Let's say that you learn 5 things in Brett's class. You're going to write them down. Boom, boom, boom. 5 tips. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to get a camera and you're going to say why you need it, like why this helped you, like why someone needs to listen, right? The hook, you know, whatever the pain is. You're going to say the pain, 3 seconds. Then you're going to say why you cared, right? The hook, why you cared, like using a personal, like be personable, empathy. And then how someone can take steps on it, right? Like hook, why, steps. There's a million different ways to do a 1-minute video or whatever. That's just a quick example. People have short attention spans, but you catch it with truth, empathy, education. So if someone's
hold
new,
your thought, because we're
they're going to be putting these out.
Hold your thought, because this is a good one. All right, so the hook is, and they can do this in 2 minutes, right? So
give me something, and I'll just do it off the cuff. Okay. Like give me a statistic or something.
So we had a 29-year-old woman who had this living benefit life insurance, was diagnosed with cancer. She had a $215,000 policy. She was diagnosed with cancer, and the insurance company paid her out $200,000, which means she didn't have to go bankrupt. She didn't have to go into foreclosure. She didn't have to have her car repoed. She certainly may not have been able to go to work for a few months, maybe even a year, but she didn't have to live off credit cards. See the power in there.
Yeah.
So
a comment above the video, Mary got paid $200,000 to have cancer. Would that catch someone's attention?
Sure.
And then when the video chops up, you say, the hook, Mary had cancer, $200,000 happened because of this reason. And this is tell the story. This is how it changed her life. She was, and just, I don't know anything about this woman, but she was interested, she was going to Harvard. She took her law degree. She woke up every day at 9 to 5 a.m., went to bed at 9 p.m. She had friends and family members. And all of a sudden, one day, something happened that she had no idea would ever happen, and it was cancer. If you or anyone that you know in your life has met someone that had cancer, this solved that problem to an extent because the journey just started. Would it be good to have $200,000? Now, this is the thing. The point is, whatever it is that an individual learns in the world, like today in 2019, could be valuable to the 7.6 billion people on the planet. And if anyone here doesn't take responsibility over being an educator to the marketplace versus just telling people what they want them to hear, and if they don't do that through empathetic storytelling based on their competence level, no one's going to come find you. But for the first time in history, we all have access to the phone, and we can put out actual facts and education and stories and so on. And my biggest recommendation to anyone would be, as soon as you get comfortable doing this, meaning being yourself online, yourself. Remember, if yourself ain't that great, that comes back to looking in the mirror like I had to do. Be honest. Everyone can do that. Start making your content just like you're interviewing me today, which I appreciate. It's usually turned around. Start listening to other people, and it's just you'll develop, and then their education may serve others as well. And that's like the whole point. So I'll give you an example, tangible, right? Give me, let's say 3 topics in your business. What are 3 big topics in your business?
In the simplest form, a topic would be, how do we get in front of more clients? So how do we position ourselves? How do we get in front of more clients? A second topic.
Okay, that's one.
A second topic would be, everyone's situation is different. Their health is different. Their finances are different. The reasons why they need insurance is different. So figuring out how to put the client first before our own self thoughts, meaning not thinking about the commission of what I'm going to make on a client. It's more about what am I going to do for this client, and the money's going to come along with it. So it's getting in front of more people and understanding which direction to take people based on their situation.
Okay, so let's give
Just
you an
those
example.
two.
Let's start with the more clients, right? Let's say that's a topic, and everyone here has been learning different things about that. We want to create educational, empathetic, entertaining content that's short and sweet and valuable to the marketplace, because everyone right now has hundreds and then even thousands of people that could see their truth online. Not selling, storytelling, being real. You take the topic more client. Can you see this? Is it backwards?
Yeah, no, it's backwards.
Well, basically, more clients is the topic. Then you want to think, what if you were to break down that topic into categories, like 2 legs of a chair to hold up this awkward chair? Brett, how could you break down more clients into 2 categories? Like if you were to simplify it a little bit, what would those 2 categories be that hold up getting to that point of more clients?
So for instance, got that.
Yeah, like if you were to break that into 2 buckets of understanding, like education. If you were to break it, getting more clients into 2 buckets of education, how could you simplify it? And you're going to oversimplify it.
I'm going to actually keep it very simple because we just went through this on Friday. It's a very simple. All right, there we go. We're back.
I got you.
And so it's very simple. We just taught this on Friday. Basically, one way to do it is to take your calendar and, for example, on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, as an example, you're going to make a decision where you're not going to go home. You're not going to work from home. You're going to go out. You're going to go out into the community, and you're going to go have a conversation with 20 business owners. And that can be a salon owner, a pizza shop, you know what I mean? Like a restaurant, whatever that might be. That's one leg. That's one way to just get yourself out there. And we teach you what to say, how to say it, and what to do. It's the activity.
Understood. So let's take that as different ways to get in front of more clients. That would be another leg of more clients. So now if you bullet point all the different ways to ascertain more clients, and you put that wrap it around short personal stories that are educational, and you put it out consistently on your Facebook or your Instagram, now people can see who you are, is my point.
Yeah, no, and so we do
it's a reverse engineering way to create content.
Right.
So if any person here let's just say that they're in the business, there's knowledge that they know that other people don't know that they want to work with, like customers. They're not going to be able to read your mind, is my point. Right. So you've got to take all of the knowledge that you have and break it down into topics, categories, and subcategories. Reverse engineer it. So you can come up with dozens and dozens and dozens of talking points, so you can put it out on the internet so people know you're competent. You don't need to buy a billboard yet. Let's just say you have no capital, no investor, no nothing. All you have is your word. All you have is your competence based on what you know, and all you have is the confidence to put yourself out there.
And would you agree that it takes time?
This is the age that someone
would you agree that it takes time? Because a lot of folks, they haven't promoted their business out into the cyberspace, right? Into the interwebs. They haven't done it yet. Yeah. They haven't done it yet. So what you're talking about, even with the video, right? It gets 300% more visibility when it's made as a video as it is than a post. Because a post works and it gets people's attention, but a video gets maximum exposure. So I think that one of the things that you're talking about here is for individuals to, number one, stay patient. It's not going to happen overnight. Stay patient, but begin to throw yourself out there with your credit and begin to develop. You won't have any credibility in the beginning. You have to develop.
Example. An example. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, I'm choking to death. Hold
Yo, someone call the ambulance.
on.
Imagine. So you were saying something.
And so I think that anybody who's insecure about what they're doing here, that'll start to build more security for them.
Yeah. So I want to go back to the beginning, because you brought up the gym industry, and I never got into that. In a very early age, like I said, I decided that I would make my entire life about how other people viewed me. I don't recommend that for anyone. So that brought me on a journey of, I had one corporate job where we employed commission mostly, but it was like a small base. This is after I was, let's just say, kicked out of a couple schools for being a little bit of a Riley, rioter.
Oh, you too.
Excitable.
Oh, you too. I
So
thought.
I didn't quite align with the irony of that is to own an education company all these years later to not go to school. Anyway. So the gym business was an option. And what we did in that business was, there's 3,000 members in a gym, let's say. Every single day, those people go to the gym, they pay a monthly membership fee. Those people now may need a trainer, but they may not know that, or they may want a trainer, but they may not know how. So this company set up a sales process that had the scripts and the stories and the examples necessary in a binder form, that an individual that was selling personal training would physically have to go up to people in the gym, set an appointment, sit down with them, and go through a process of showing the value of personal training. And we sold 12-month contracts, first month down, last month down for personal training. That started at 20, and by 24, we owned a business, which was a gym, which was started with an American Express credit card, an investor enough to get in the doors, a 10,000 square foot facility, and no members, but just a list of numbers to call of people that were for the previous gym that went out of business that no one liked. So I got on the phone, made the calls, people joined, and from those people that joined, it was like 80 people ended up joining. We had all the conversions laid out. 87% of the people that I sat in front of bought personal training for first month down, last month down, 12-month contracts. And we built this EFT of personal training along with the gym memberships, and then people would buy shakes and so on and so forth. And in a very short period of time, it became very successful. Now, this is the caveat, is like why Culture Matters was started. Can I cuss? I don't even like cussing. I was a jerk. Swearing is not healthy for the psychology of the. I was such a positional leader. The things that I expected others to do, I didn't do. All I was very insecure, over competent in that discipline, fake confident, fake alpha individual who focused 100 hours a week, living and sleeping in my business for the goal of earning income, and did very well at that thing. Yep. And the employees that were hired to the organization by my business partner did not respect me.
I'm going to hold it right there. Wait, hold it right there. So a lot of times we have folks who come on board and they want to have an agency. They want to build a team. They want to be a team leader. And we highly encourage anybody who wants to be in that sort of position. We have a whole structure designed around that mentorship program, that leadership program. For 7.5 years, I sold insurance. 2-3 Saturdays a month, 2-3 Sundays a month, consistently, year over year. There's no way that I ever could have even taught one person how to sell insurance if I wasn't out there doing it myself. And you bring up a great point, because a lot of times the expectation is they come on board and they want to have a team, and we want them to have teams, but they have to understand that they really have to go out and really crush the activity and be noticed as becoming an expert in what they do. 10,000 hours in anything will eventually, start to make you great. Your first 100 appointments here are going to start to really start to change yourself in your business. But you can't become a leader of anyone until you've gone out and done it yourself. And so that story resonates.
No, I appreciate that. And now I was doing the work and then contradicting what I was expecting others to do by doing other things that I should have done in the business as a man, as a
Yep.
leader. And it hit me so hard. Now we grew from me, my partner, and his brother to over 25 employees that were all independent contractors that worked every day more than they got paid. They were all period cost trainers in less than 6 months and built $1 million valuation because of that. And I'll explain exactly how it was done right now. My mentor, the majority owner of the company, was more of a leader than myself. However, he saw something in me. What he saw appeared to be drive, but was really insecurity masked with entrepreneurialism. But he saw past that. He believed in me on a level that I couldn't understand at that point. And he said to me about 3 months in, I remember we're just going all out all day long to build this thing. And through the osmosis of that energy, people are wanting to be around us, to work with us and for us. But I was still a jerk and I was still a liar to myself, and therefore didn't have the respect of the peers around me. And he said to me, start having the team meetings. You take the role, you take the leadership, and you hold the team meetings. And this is what hit me really hard. I was walking in Barnes & Noble, where I go when I'm stressed out, living on ramen noodles with the business, right? The business makes money. You don't. You shouldn't. You pay your employees before you pay you. That's the way it is, period. There isn't anywhere I am that. But now I couldn't handle this. And I'm walking to Barnes & Noble, and this book like hits my peripherals, and I pick it up. And it's called Uncontainable. I highly recommend it for any person here that's a
Uncontainable.
Yeah, by Kip Tindall.
Kip Tindall?
And on the left hand, Kip Tindall is the founder of the Container Store.
Oh, gotcha.
It was written in 2014, around when they went public. And on the left-hand side of the book, it said they had 78 locations. They just went public. And in the early 70s, the company was started because Kip Tindall wanted to help people get more organized. And this is what caught my eye. They had 1,000% less turnover than the average retailer. 90% of their employees are previous customers. And the average employee in that retailer company made 50% more than the average retailer.
Wow.
And the author, these are real stats. The author said, it's because of our core values, our 7 foundation principles that we use to train our people every single day. They did an hour of training every single day. Like, it's just an immense amount of training through these values. And so this is what I did. I wrote down all of what I thought were our values. And before these team meetings that happened every single day, where people weren't paid to be there, they wanted to be there to learn, we would talk about the values and then do the training. So there was inspiration and education. And I'm still a jerk at this point. However, the results was this. People would drive 20 minutes out of the way to come to this place. The first value of the business was the first 3 steps. And it meant when the customer walks through the door, they get greeted with a warm, hearty hello. The first 3 steps. When the customer gets through the door, they get greeted with a warm, hearty hello. And while these meetings were occurring, I saw people greeting people. And the whole culture got aligned in that capacity. And I was like, I got to be able to teach this.
Yeah.
So I left the part of me that was involved in that industry, unconsciously said, this is not your path, because I was only on that path because of insecurity and fake. It was all fake, materialistic. So I quit. Now, why is this relevant for everyone here? Because leaving that whole operation was a very financially difficult decision. Everything was gone, and it was going to be couch surfing to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Got the real estate license. The first day in real estate, got a listing, sold in 5 days, totally crushed it, turned that into a program to be able to teach the telephone. This was like within 6 months to a year. Remember, business philosophy doesn't go
Hot
away if
calls,
you're willing
right?
to have integrity.
What'd you call them? Hot calls?
Hot calls. Made hot calls. I went to real estate offices. I made phone calls live on speakerphone to people that didn't know me, like me, or trust me. You call them cold calls, whatever, calls that only lead to disappointment. And I started putting videos out that were educational, empathetic, and telling the truth. And then the accident occurred. This is like over a process of years, right? And interviewing individuals, most successful people in their industries, open the doors for those opportunities to show my integrity, competence, and confidence in a new industry that wasn't the fitness business industry. This is the most important thing. I had to face the facts that I was the problem in everything and take responsibility.
Wait,
To
this
learn,
is huge.
grow,
This is huge.
share.
Right.
It's just, this story hasn't really been talked about too much. So
No. Look, I think that this is going to go very far because as individuals, as entrepreneurs, as insurance agents, we have to look in the mirror daily and ask ourselves, are we growing? Are we getting better daily? And if I'm not out making sales, if I'm not out helping families and businesses, is it really everybody else? Or does something need to change with me? You know, one of the things that you talked about earlier was heart and being able to, I don't know if you said lead with your heart or speak from your heart, but I believe that, and again, this happens in time. A new person, they're just trying to figure it out. They're just trying to figure out, did I ask the right questions? Am I doing the right thing in the home? I think when I was taught this 2 years ago, authenticity. When you speak with an authentic heart, when you come from a specific place, deep down, it shows, it resonates with other cold people that you just met. I mean, think about this, Jay. Our folks are walking into a home or business, and within an hour, they have their entire medical history, their driver's license number, their social, their birth date, their parents' information, their kids' information, and their banking information, all within an hour. You have to have some sort of makeup about you in order to retrieve that kind of information. I believe it comes from speaking authentically and coming from your heart, asking questions. Like if I asked you a question, I said, Jay, how you doing today? Or if I was like, Jay, how you doing today?
yeah.
I asked you the same question.
It's totally different.
And that can be taught, that can be learned, but the individual has to settle themselves down. Like the ego's got to go out the window, and you really have to come from a certain place.
I agree with you. And I would say that if anyone is watching this and they want to kill two birds with one stone, develop themselves internally and attract people who would want to do business with them because they enjoy who they are, because they can see their heart online. They should take all of the knowledge that they have about their business, and this is any industry, write it all down, all the main points of the pieces of knowledge they have, and break those points into categories, and then break them down into more points and film videos on them.
Say it again.
Where they, this is huge. Take all the topics in your business that you're competent in and break each one of those topics, which I tried to draw on this thing, but it just doesn't show, right? Break each topic down into categories to simplify it, and break the category into more categories, and then take those categories and make them into like points. Why? This is a process to help your brain get less cluttered and confused, so you could actually really show yourself like, whoa, I know a lot of stuff. Yes. And that will reduce your nerves and stress of talking about one of these little points. And you wrap this little point with a personal story, a personal example, an analogy to make that point, and you put it out online on video. That shows your competence to people online you're a billboard. And your confidence will go up because you're staying sharp. You can't put out content if you don't know anything. And then once you're comfortable, interview people like you are me, which helps them. And that will help more people get great information. It's like sometimes owners of real estate companies, they ask me, well, what do you think? You know, if everyone's going out there and putting themselves out there and doing videos and these things, is that going to dilute what you're doing? No, it might save the world, man. You're thinking too small, man. What? More educated people on the planet?
Yeah, right. Imagine.
The great part about that is I was able to, and now this is the thing, the psychological therapy of that is you start to have to actually look in the mirror and take responsibility. Are you actually growing? And psychologically coach yourself. The irony of the personal development industry, the mentorship, is that a mentor has the care to be a mentor to a mentee because they're coaching themselves through it.
Sure.
Some kind of internal pain, internal experience drives their effing behavior to want to help. So the beauty of that is anyone can go and check out the people that I've been able to have the blessing to interview and add value to and build relationships and do business with on YouTube, on Facebook, and they'll see every day top people in their fields. I'm not talking, I'm asking questions. I'm listening. The intent behind the interview is I want to know who they are. I want to listen. And that's great content because they get business from it. And they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, if I like them, we'll work together. If I don't see the alignment, we won't. We'll just be friends. And like sometimes, but it's all good. There's nothing bad that will happen in your life from telling the truth. So you can build a business while building yourself. And I've spent my entire life attempting to build myself. In the beginning, for things that didn't really matter, which was the outside. And for the last 4 years, very, very, very intently on the inside. And that's when things went from people not really believing in what we were doing with the education to working with some of the largest individuals in the entire industry. Legitimate.
So we're going to wrap it. And I want to, I'm going to ask you, where can people find you? But before I do that, you just, again, another great nugget here. It's like, we operate in financial services. So if you really take a step back and you look at what we're doing here, we're working as independent contractors, making money in the vehicle of insurance and financial services with a personal development plan and a compensation plan attached. Are you with me on that? Right. So it's like, it's like we operate in insurance. There's a compensation plan attached to that, as well as a personal development plan for yourself. It's got the best of both worlds.
If you're alive in 2019 and you're not personally developing, there's a lot of people that also aren't, that you won't be able to help then because they didn't necessarily learn anything. There isn't you actually can't really sign up for a class on this stuff because have you been to high school? So if that's the point, put out your competence in your field while telling the truth, while being honest with people. There's so many liars. I don't teach how to become a millionaire. We teach corporate culture, which when broken down is psychology and sociology internally in the organization, like inverted PR. Be very successful doing it by telling the truth online and putting out education. Just so people understand as well, we do a lot with the personal development industry, but it started in the real estate industry and then mortgage and title followed, and then it followed from there. So predominantly, the business that we're in is like the mortgage business, the title business, the real estate business, the personal development industry. And that's just turned into the opportunities of like the retail and the things. And it's just all a big, so if people are watching this and they're focused on B2B and whatnot and businesses of that nature, reach out to me. Let's connect in some way. Who knows? Maybe we could build a relationship and open doors for each other and so on and so forth. When an individual takes responsibility to be competent, they'll be confident. And if they have integrity, people want to do business with them and continue to
Yep.
do it. And capitalism will always weed out those who aren't ready. We don't need to focus on someone else's mistakes. We've got to focus on developing our value and being consistent. So, I hope that this gave people some tangible, like very tangible. Write down all of the things that you know into as many points as possible, basically, and start putting out once a week, twice a week, 1 minute, 2 minute, LinkedIn. Go to my Facebook, personal Facebook, Jay Doran. Go to LinkedIn. You're just going to see every day there's a video that goes out interviewing someone that's done it. Many millionaires, many.
Anything you're doing,
Anything
you're doing it's got to be consistent.
Every day. Every day until I am killed. Until I am killed.
By an elephant crossing Broad Street.
Until I am killed, I don't say that. Killed, there will be an elephant. There will be a video go out.
You're gonna walk through City Hall now looking for elephants.
So YouTube has. I'm gonna put it.
Yeah. Can you put it in the comments? Drop in the comments your YouTube link.
The interviews alone.
Wait, your YouTube link and the link where people can find you on your website. Once I post it inside the group, if you wouldn't mind dropping your links in there, that would be awesome. But listen, I really, really do appreciate you spending the morning here with us. And, maybe one of the next times that we're in Philadelphia and we do one of our boot camp type trainings, love to maybe have you come in and just kind of meet some people and meet everybody. You just do such a great job, man. And,
thank you.
You said to me, for the first couple of years, at first they laughed. Now they call and ask for advice.
And when that occurs, take the high road, because no one can actually hate you. They can only show where they're at. I'm going to get killed by my publicist if I don't talk about it. February 23rd, the first book of Culture Matters is coming out, 30 Days of
Congratulations.
Thought. February 23rd, so 10 days. Thank you. And the premise of this book is to actually help people create empathetic educational content. So the premise is over 30 days, when you read the book, you're going to read a thought in the morning, in the midday, and in the evening, if you're up for it. And the point of that is on the next page, you're going to write down not what you read or what you learned. You're going to write down in the book. You can actually write in the book something you think and then film a video about it and put it out there. And the book breaks down how to do short videos. So read every day, write every day, and speak every day. 30 days of thought to help individuals develop truth online to raise the positivity and consciousness for whatever business they're in. So that's February 23rd. Check it out. Follow me. Send me messages. Let's stay in touch. And I'll put all those links in there.
You got it. I appreciate it. Thanks again. I know I'll be seeing you probably real soon somewhere.
Oh, wait. Does culture matter?
Culture matters.
Yeah.
Hey, I just thought about this. There's no way an elephant can fit through any of those streets in Fishtown.
We could talk all day long. I love it. You got to end it.
I'll see ya.
It'll be.
Take care, man.